Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If it's your first time joining, welcome. If you are coming from a previous video on my channel, welcome back. If you are a previous subscriber, also welcome back. In today's video, what I will be doing is I'm going to go over what the settings button covers. So I'm going to hit settings, and it's got 8 different pages. So your first is part of your sewing settings. Number 1 is select whether to use the sewing speed control. That's what this one is. And it says, okay, select whether to use the sewing speed controller to determine your zigzag width. So if you're going to be using your zigzag stitches, you can decide if you want to use this button, the speed stitching button, to determine what your thickness of your satin stitches is going to be. I selected no. I think no is actually the default setting. I don't use a lot of satin stitches. I have not done machine applique where I would use some satin stitches, but that may happen in the future. So that's nice, a nice setting to know. So number 2 is your fine adjustment, and this makes adjustments to decorative stitch patterns, and you can hit up or down. And of course 00 is your default. Page 54 in your manual tells you a little bit more about that. And page 48 in the manual tells you more about the width control button. Number 3 is you set it to on when you're going to be using your twin needles. In a video, it may be up already or it may be coming in the future. I talk about twin needles, and even on my very first sewing machine that I purchased 23 years ago, I have a basic little brother machine, and I made my first quilt with that machine. All it really did was straight stitching. It came with a twin needle, and I never used it then either. I've never used a twin needle. So that's what that one does. So I have that set to off. So, oops, let's go back. I should not have hit the OK. Okay, so next page is your initial position, and what that one is. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I think initial position is... Okay, so my pages are a little off here. They're, according to the manual, it's popping me up to page 3 when I should be... Oops. Okay, I was wrong. Page 2 is actually just the continuation of your sewing settings. That's where reading your manual comes in handy. So this one is your number 4 option of your sewing settings in the manual. What it does is you select either one. You select select a straight stitch left, or straight stitch 1-03 for the middle as your utility stitch that is automatically selected when the machine is turned on. Okay, so to do that, let's go back, and on number 1, I like to have, when I'm sewing on my quilting, I like number 3. I like my needle position in the middle. So it says what you're going to do is we're going to go back to settings, and we're going to go to that next page, and right there. That is the position I want my needle to be when I turn on my machine. So I'll hit OK. Let's turn it off. My needle position is currently on, let's see if you can see that. My needle is to the left. So let's see when I turn it off and then we turn it back on. Okay, it did not change anything. Select either 0-1 straight stitch to the left or 1-03 straight stitch in the middle as your utility stitch that is automatically selected when the machine turns on. It didn't do nothing. So let's go back up and I have it on the number 3, so I'm on that stitch. Let's go back to our settings on that page. I want it on that one. So let's turn it back off. Let me turn it back on. And it didn't do nothing. I don't understand. I will have to look into that a little bit further on why it's not changing to that position. So that is going to tell me it doesn't give me a page actually where to go to that. So I will look into that a little bit more. So our next page, let's go ahead and go to our next page. If anybody knows, if you have this machine already, tell me what I'm doing wrong there, because there should be something there. I'm going to just put it back to that one, and I'll just leave it at that. And let's just go here. Oh, you know what? Okay, let's go back. Let's go to this one. We're going to go to number 1. We're going to select that one. Then let's go back to settings. Page 2, let's go to this one, hit OK, and let's turn it back off, turn it back on, and it still went to the left needle position. I'm not sure why it's not changing. That is something I'm going to have to look into. I've got to be doing something right, or excuse me, something wrong. Because it says select either 1-01 straight stitch, which on the left, which is this one, or 1-03 straight stitch in the middle position as the utility stitch that is automatically selected when the machine is turned on. So that's what this one is, and for some reason it's not changing anything. So that's what I want. I want it to be in the middle position, but it's not, so I will look into that a little later. Okay, let's move on. Our next is your embroidery settings. I have not played with these yet, so let's learn a little as we go on. So our number 5 is going to be these left and right buttons, and you select the embroidery frame to be used. And the frame that comes with your sewing machine is a 4x4 inch frame. Okay, so there's this one. I do not have, let's see. Okay, that's not it. Okay, so this is your frame. This one you can, okay, so let me tell you something first. Let me get back off track again. So when I bought the machine, I did a little bit of research first because, excuse me, I wanted to be able to use different frames as well. Now, when I looked on Amazon, because I like going to Amazon and looking up a product, and I go straight to the reviews, and I read about what people say about that product. Well, there was a bunch of people that said that the 4x4 frame was all you could use on this machine. It's not. Okay? There are additional frames that you can use with this machine. You can either go to the Brother website to purchase them. If you do that, expect to pay a large amount. Okay? And I mean large. One frame that I looked at was $75, and the other one I believe was $60. And if you buy a replacement 4x4, they're all over $40 just for one little frame. Okay, so again, your frame that comes with it is a 4x4 inch frame. Okay, if you have the machine, you obviously know what that looks like. You can purchase a 1 inch by 2.5 inch frame, and those are there. It's a little tiny oval frame, and I'm going to tell you where you can purchase them. Go to Amazon. You can buy the 3-piece set for $24.99. Okay, so the 3-piece set is your 4x4 frame, your 1 by 2.5 inch frame, and then okay, there's your 4x4 again, and that's all telling me that's all it has. But there is a third frame. Okay, and what that third frame is, it's a 4-inch by, let me check my Amazon real quick because I have it saved in my favorites. It is a 4-inch frame by, I want to say 7 inches. And let me bring it up and I will show you. I'm going to go to my lists. Okay, so you can buy them in multi-packs. So you can buy the frames, buy them in the 3-piece frame set. And I'm going to just show you that. Okay, so this is what that looks like. Oh, what did I do? Go back. There we go. So it's made by New Thread Embroidery Machine Hoop 3-in-1 set. So this is what that little 1.5 inch by 2 or 1 inch by 2.5 inch frame looks like. This is a 4x4 frame, and then you have this one. And if we scroll through, okay, so it is a 4-inch by, oh, you stupid phone, what are you doing to me? Okay. Lord have mercy. It's almost 2 a.m. That's my excuse. Okay, so your other frame is a 4-inch by 6 3/4 inch frame. And they are $24.99 for the frame. If you buy just the 4-inch frame, it's $14.99. And what you can also purchase are, you can do little sets, and that's what this one is. You can buy all 3 frames with these little things that you put around your spools so they don't unravel, and that set is $101.59. So you get all 3 frames, you get 100 of these, and you get 64 spools of thread for $100. If you have not bought thread, thread can be very expensive. Okay, so there's that set. There are other sets. This one, this set is the frames. You get, let's see, you get tearaway 8x8 stabilizer sheets, and then you get a 40-piece spool set, and that one is $58.89. Okay, so you can buy your, you can go through Brother if you want the name brand, but you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna pay money for those. So sorry, I'm getting all off track here. But the larger frame that I showed you, let's click on this and go through to the larger frames. Okay, let's go back to the other one. Let me go back to that one. The larger frame that is the 4" by this one, the 4" by 6 3/4, is called a repositional frame. And let's scroll through here. Okay, see where it says 1.42, 1.42, 1.42. Those are 3 different places that you can adjust the frame. So you'll sew in one part, you'll sew in the next part, and you'll sew in the next part. So that's if you want to make larger text items, you can do that. Definitely check out the Brother SE625 repositional frames. And there's lots of videos. That's how I found out about that particular additional frame. So I hope that kind of helps you a little bit. I am a really budget conscious person. I like to find the best deals. So I will research everything to try to get the best deals. It can be you'll buy one product at one place, same name, same size, everything, but you go to another place and it's like, you know, like 25, 30% cheaper, 50% cheaper, whatever. I research everything before I purchase something. Okay. Okay, enough of the rattling on. Okay. So this button was to switch your frames. So that one, your 4x4, and then your 1.5 by 2.5. It does not tell you about the repositional frame, and I'm not sure why that doesn't do that. But like I said, just go check on here on YouTube for repositional frames. Okay. So our next button is going to select the center mark and the grid lines that are displayed. So there is, it puts your little plus mark right down in the center. Then it does your 4x4 grid, and it does your larger grid. And I think that is where your the ruler, the plastic little ruler thing comes in use, since I have not done anything on the embroidery yet. That is still something that I'll be learning. One thing that when I shared that I got this machine with some of the quilting groups that I belong to on Facebook, I was like so eager. I was going to jump right in to doing the embroidery because, hey, that's what I wanted the machine for. Well, a lot of people told me, hey, wait, stop. Go through your stitches first. Learn how to sew on the machine first before you do your embroidery. And I'm really glad that people advise that, because I have learned several things that I would not have otherwise. Okay, so let's continue on. So our next page is you change the thread color display on the embroidery screen, your thread number and your color name, which is this one right here. So you can do by color name, you can do by number. And when you buy your threads, when you do your embroidery pattern, every thread either comes by a name or it comes by a number code on that thread. Definitely Google Brother Embroidery thread chart, color thread chart. I have not done that myself yet because I purchased an additional, I purchased one of those thread sets that kind of like what I showed you, and they will provide me with a thread chart, thread color chart, and it's a different, it's not the brother threads, but it is, they will send me the one that goes with their thread. So I can, that what their thread is to what the brother thread is. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so our next button here is number 9. And when the thread number is selected, you select from 3 brands. So when your thread number is selected, so when you have it on here, you can do your embroidery, you can do country, and you can do Madeira poly. I have seen a lot of other people on YouTube that use Madeira poly. I never knew about Madeira poly thread. And what the poly means is polyester. Embroidery sewing machine thread is polyester thread. So one video that I watched, you have Madeira rayon, you have sulky, you have Robinson Anton, or you just have embroidery. One gentleman that I watched that I guess has a professional business where he does embroidery, and he has one of these brother machines. He just says put it on embroidery. Okay, so our next one, number 10, is you change the display units. So I have it set to inches, and it's either millimeter or inches. I'm more familiar with inches, so I just go by inch. Okay, so our next screen is your thumbnail size, and you press to specify the size of the pattern thumbnails. So you either have a large thumbnail or you have a small thumbnail. And page, let's see if there's, it does not tell me, so I will have to look a little bit more into that, what that means. It was on small, so I'm going to just kind of leave it there. Then our next option is change the color of the background for the embroidery display area. So you can change your background. So I'm assuming what this one means is, okay, say your background fabric. Change the color of the background for the embroidery display area. So I'm guessing that if you're going to be embroidering on black, you can do this. Just kind of takes you to your button, and so if you're sewing on black background, it kind of does, I guess it does that. And then this one does your next button. This one does your change the color of the background for the thumbnail area. I'm hoping when I get to the embroidery section, that just tells me a little bit more on what these mean, that they go into depth a little bit more. But I'm going to go back and select my color as white, just so I don't mess anything up there. Then our next is general settings, and our next page. So this is your needle up, needle down position. And You select the needle stop position, the needle position for when the machine is not being operated, to be up or down. So this is down or up, and I have it usually on up. It's on up now. Then your next one is your buzzer, and you select whether to hear the beep operation sound. So that beep that you can hear, that's what that is. Okay. And then the next one is your opening screen. When you first started up your sewing machine, it played that little video at the beginning, and this is where you can turn that on or off. I don't want to see that every time I start up my machine, so I turned it off. Okay, and then the next one is for your operation language that you want it in. I'm English, of course, so I'm going to just have it in English. Then our next one is whether you want the light on or off, and your light will go on or off. Of course, I like it on. And in the previous video where I talked about what the LCD screen and what this little control panel does, you can input your sensitivity. Okay, and how you do that is it says you select the level of input sensitivity for your operation keys. Page 13 will tell you a little bit more about that. So you're going to hit start, and you adjust the screen, the adjusting screen. You input your sensitivity by pushing your buttons here. So it looks like 5 is the highest it goes. The higher the setting, the more sensitive your keys are going to be. So I don't want that. Default was number 3. We recommend selecting the highest setting if an electrostatic touch pen is used. I guess that might be this. I'm not sure. And then while adjusting the input sensitivity, press your sewing machine button here to check whether the key responds. When the key responds, the setting value indicating the sensitivity blinks. So I think I'm going to set it down to 2. So let's do this. Okay, and the number 2 blinked. And then you're going to just press your back button to return to your previous screen. If the machine does not respond when an operation key is pressed, turn the machine off, then hold down your scissors here, your thread cutter button, and turn the machine to reset input sensitivity. And the display settings screen, and then the adjust and input sensitivity again, what we just went through. Okay, so we have one more page. And what that one does is it is the first option, your service count, is the displays the service count, which is a reminder to take your machine in for regular servicing. Contact your authorized brother dealer for details. Then your total count displays the total number of stitches sewn on this machine. And then the number here is the internal machine number for your machine. Okay. And then 23 is your it displays the program version installed on your machine. So while I was flipping through my manual, I learned that at the very back of the manual, on page 89, it says upgrading your machine's software. It has a website that you can go to to check if you have the latest version of software for your machine, and it proceeds to tell you how to go about doing that to upgrade if you don't. I went to go look, and 1.08 is the current version for this machine. So there's another thing where it helps to read your manual. And I think that covers everything on the operation of the settings key. The next thing in the manual goes through on how to wind your bobbin, how to do your top threading. If you're a sewer, you already know how to do that. There's so many videos already on how to do your threading of the machine. If you want me to do that, please request it down below, and I can do that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to skip over that, though. After that, there is a fabric thread needle chart that tells you about what needles and things to use with the proper fabrics. And so it's what fabric, what thread, what needles go together. I will be posting a video of that if it's not already up by now. Then your next thing will be replacing your needles, how to switch out your presser feet, and then you move on to sewing basics. And that's where the sewing basics is going to be where your combining stitch patterns come in. So I'm thinking that will be one of our next videos, and please stay tuned for that, and we will see you soon. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. That lets me know that you appreciate the videos I'm making, and it encourages me to keep making videos. So please, please, please leave a comment, even if it's just hi, great, nice video, whatever. Or thank you. Whatever you wish to comment, just please comment. So we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.